Hello everyone, this is ICBC here and today I want to talk about why Ubisoft games recently seem to suck so bad. Yeah, I know Ubisoft has been having a bit of a rough time recently, but yeah, I don't really like making a video just to kick Ubisoft when it's down, but here we are. I don't want to kick down Ubisoft, I just want Ubisoft, if there's like 0% chance Ubisoft is listening to me, but if there is some chance, I want Ubisoft to listen because I want this video to be a constructive criticism, and I know that if Ubisoft listens to this thing, their games can actually become really good, like overnight kind of a thing. So yeah, what is the secret thing that I think that's absolutely missing from Ubisoft games? And without further ado, I think it's a story mode. And yeah, it sounds surprising to you because Ubisoft does have a story mode, but no, I would beg to differ. They have campaigns, yes, but the writing in Ubisoft games, especially the ones released recently, have been really lackluster, I think. And it might surprise people because I think there is a bit of a confusion going on with the people. Because people, when they criticize Ubisoft, they say that Ubisoft isn't making good games. I would beg to differ. I would say that Ubisoft is making good games, but the games that Ubisoft is making are, for the most part, redundant, something we've played for a long time and we're just kind of really used to it, and most of the time that's not really a bad thing unless it's been done a lot of times. Then in that case, yes, which in Ubisoft case is also the case, so we will discuss that thing as well. But I don't think it's the games part that Ubisoft sucks at, because if you look at a game like Assassin's Creed Mirage, I only played it once, and I happen to really love the mechanics of the game a lot. Actually, I do think that Ubisoft actually listened to the feedback provided by the fans, and they wanted to actually do something genuine. They listened that, okay, so we are maybe going way too much into the RPG part of the game, and we should probably cater to our fans of the series who have been playing our games for a long time. And long and behold, here comes Assassin's Creed Mirage, and it is exactly what Ubisoft promised. And I'm going to explain quickly my experience with Mirage, at least mechanic wise, because it was definitely different compared to the other games like Origins, Odyssey and Valhalla. In those games, if you want to go out guns blazing and fight everyone, you can do that. You have that option, especially like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you're a goddamn Viking, going out and fighting people is more often encouraged by the game. You are not an assassin, that's something in the background you can do, but it's not forced on you. But the thing is, this is a game series that's called Assassin's Creed, so I think with Valhalla at the very least, Assassin's Creed was starting to lose its identity. But like I said, Ubisoft listened and they gave us Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I played that game and I tried to play it like I would play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I would go in and I would try to take on as many people as I can, and I would try and fight them. But you know what? I can't do that because apparently I suck at the combat, and the game punishes me for that by getting me killed over and over again. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why can't I play this game? And then I realized, okay, wait a minute. This is an Assassin's Creed game. Maybe I should try doing some of that. And yeah, it worked. I went through mission after mission, and it just seemed to work, and I felt good about that because the game encourages you to use stealth, and that's what makes Assassin's Creed games Assassin's Creed games. I actually remember this feeling very well when I was playing for the first time Assassin's Creed 4. And for the most part in that game I used to just go guns blazing, because in that game you have two guns and they are like really powerful and you can really abuse that weapon. So there was a mission in that game that you had to go into a plantation and you had to take out a lot of the guards, and I kept trying to do that mission but it just wouldn't work. So after so many failed attempts I thought, hey, this is a plantation, there's a lot of plants growing around, maybe, I don't know, like it's a wild guess, but hey, maybe I should use that to my advantage. And yeah, I used the foliage in that plantation to my advantage, and it was a really easy mission. Like, you see how the game encourages you and pushes you in one direction. It's like, yeah, you can go guns blazing in. That's up to you. If you can do that, if you can complete the mission doing that, that's great. But it's really difficult, so it's encouraged that you use stealth. And that was, I think, the first time. I know it's surprising. It may be the first time I actually used stealth in an Assassin's Creed game, and I felt good. I felt like a god. I could assassinate anyone I want and I could just get away scot-free and no one can find me. Wow. I really loved doing that. So yeah, like that feeling was something I was reminded by Assassin's Creed Mirage. But if you've watched most people's review about Assassin's Creed Mirage, most of them have mixed feelings. Is Assassin's Creed Mirage a good game or is it a bad game? And if you've been watching my review so far, you would think that I have a very positive opinion about Assassin's Creed Mirage, but that's not the case. Not at all. In fact, I think Assassin's Creed Mirage is one of the weakest games I've played. So why is that the case? Well, story. Here we are again. As much as I'd hate to admit, because people say that, if you're playing a game, it's all about the gameplay, but for someone like me who doesn't really play a lot of online battle royale kind of games, I don't like doing that. That's my personal taste, but I like playing a lot of single player games, and that's where my passion for gaming comes in. And it really helps if a game has a good story, because if it doesn't, then what the hell am I doing? Because I could be playing any other game with the same mechanics. I want to bring in another example, which is The Last of Us. Now, The Last of Us is a game series that doesn't have revolutionary game mechanics. Yes, it's a fun game to play, but I'm gonna take a wild gander and say that it's not the gameplay that people play that game for. It's the story. And that's something that PlayStation has really figured out, because if we look at some of the most popular games in PlayStation, they have Horizon Zero Dawn, a really good and a really unique story, if I do say so myself. And then you have the Last of Us series, God of War, Spider-Man. Do you think Spider-Man would be a good game because it's a superhero game? It's a good game because it has a damn good story. And that's something sorely lacking from recent Ubisoft games. If I have to go by one, and I want to keep it very brief, because maybe I'll make more in-depth video in the future about each game. But let's talk about Origins. It's a good game, really great story, absolutely loved it. And then you have Odyssey, which stumbles a lot. It doesn't have a good ending, but hey, it's a really fun game to play. There's a lot of side quests, and the parts of the story is really well written, and you're engaged throughout the game. So it may not be a good story overall, but it still hooks you in. It still engages the player. So it's still a good game overall. And then you have Valhalla, which is a game that I like to say that it may be an exaggeration and might piss off people, but I would say that Assassin's Creed Valhalla doesn't even have a campaign. Sorry, like if you're a fan of Valhalla, but I don't think that Assassin's Creed Valhalla even has a main story campaign. I just think that the whole game consists of side quest, because years ago when Valhalla was coming out, and I was watching someone's review of the game, and they were saying that I played the game, and in the game you can, there's like different regions, and then you can go and help those guys free their city, and you can become allies with them. So, and as I was listening to that guy talk, I don't remember who it was a video I was watching years ago, and as I was listening to that guy talk, I thought that the whole thing was a side quest mechanic, and I thought, hey, that seems like a really good side mechanic in the game. If you feel like conquering some regions in the game, you can do that if you want, if you have some free time from the campaign. Well, guess what, that was the entire game. Imagine my surprise. And that's why I don't think Assassin's Creed Valhalla even has a campaign, because the whole story feels like a side quest. You're just going off, at some point you're in a different city, and then there's a completely different vibe, and then you go and you have this adventure, and then you come back to Ravensthorpe, and it's just a really weird thing. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that there weren't some fun quests or there weren't some redeeming quality to the story, but overall it's just very negative experience from Valhalla. Again, I could make an hour-long video just talking about this game. But then you have Assassin's Creed Mirage, and when Assassin's Creed Mirage was going to come out, there were trailers, and I watched those trailers, and there was like this really weird genie that was haunting Basim, and I was like, okay, that seems really interesting, because that's like the focus point of the whole trailer, and I'm like, I wonder what that's gonna be about. So I play Assassin's Creed Mirage, and well, nothing, absolutely nothing. You don't get that thing. The trailer promised that, hey, this is what the whole focal point of the game is going to be about. It's just a bait and switch, because you play that game, and whenever you do a big assassination, and like usually in Assassin's Creed games, whenever you do a big assassination, you get this a moment to talk to the person you just assassinated. I remember Assassin's Creed Origins, it had really good moments and cinematics, but in Assassin's Creed Mirage you get the same scene over and over again with that genie, and I don't know what to say. It's like the whole thing doesn't even progress anywhere. It's like, if you expect that if you assassinated someone really big once, you see a cutscene, okay, that's great, but then you assassinate someone who was a big character in the game, you get another cutscene with that genie. You would expect something different, but it's the same thing throughout the game towards the goddamn ending of the game. And you realize that, okay, so this genie was Bayek's friend who was in Bayek's head. It's such a bad story. Like, if I had to tell you what happens in Assassin's Creed Mirage, I couldn't tell you what happens, because I don't know. I remember that Basim started as, someone who is a street thief. He steals things, and then he gets recruited by the assassins. Great. There's a lot of in between of him doing work for the assassins, and then there's the final boss who was going to tell something big to I was going to say Bayek, it's Basim. She was going to tell something really big to Basim, and then she gets, as she was saying something big and revolutionary, she gets assassinated by I don't remember her name, Nadia was her name maybe, but she gets assassinated, the whole big bad guy of Assassin's Creed Mirage. And then you go to your assassin's bureau because it's on under attack and something happens, and then Basim goes down to the ancient temple and he gets that cutscene. And well, that's the gist of the whole Assassin's Creed Mirage game. And if I had to tell you something that I remember from that game other than what I've already told you, it would be a quest where I was in someone's house and there was this woman who was like, I need a makeup kit stolen, and I had to like steal something for her, and then she was like, oh okay, I need something else. It was a fun quest, but that's the gist of what I remember from Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's about it. And if you're going to accuse me that it's my fault for not knowing enough about Assassin's Creed Mirage, because you could probably tell me more about this game because you've played it, I've played it, you would be right. I don't remember much, and maybe it's my fault, but I could tell you a lot more about The Last of Us. I've played that game maybe twice actually, but yeah, that's one more time more than Assassin's Creed Mirage. But there's a lot more I can tell you about The Last of Us Part 1. It's such a great game with such a great story. I can't tell you anything about Mirage because it's just a damn forgettable story. And that's the point I want to keep hitting on, that Ubisoft doesn't have good writers. It invests a lot of money in trying to make their games fun. It like scratches its head like thinking like, how do we make our games fun? While that is something I would encourage Ubisoft to do, games should be fun, they should not feel stagnant. But tell me what's different from Last of Us Part 1 to Last of Us Part 2. I think Last of Us Part 1 was released in 2013 and then Part 2 came out in 2020. What's different in those games gameplay wise? Not much I would say, but what's different is the story. People still played the Part 2. No one complained about the gameplay. They might have complained about the story, but that's a different video for another day. I have so much to talk about that, but yeah, I don't think the gameplay criticism is valid for the most part. I might be wrong, but let me know what you guys think. I don't think the gameplay really matters that much, and if the story in the single player is damn good. Okay, now I'm going to absolutely contradict myself by saying that yeah, the gameplay somewhat matters, because whenever I actually talked about this in my last video, the gameplay of the new modern RPG Assassin's Creed series feels very, very, very stagnant. The first game, Assassin's Creed Origins, feels absolutely delight. It's a great game to play. But then, you get Odyssey, and now the gameplay starts to feel a bit stagnant. And then you get Valhalla, and now it's like, are they gonna do something about it? Because this is like the same game that I'm playing with. If the story was good, I would say like, what, let's just play the game, even if the gameplay is the same thing. I don't care, just like with The Last of Us. But like after I spent like maybe 300 hours in Origins and Odyssey, I don't have in it me to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is essentially the same game with a different setting and a really bad story. That's the main criticism. That's what keeps biting Ubisoft in the ass. But yeah, this is it for me. I'm sorry if it felt like I was ranting a lot, because I am actually. This is very much unscripted and I'm just recording this thing in one go. So if you thought it felt ranty and really bad, well, now you know. But let me know what you think I got wrong. Do you think there's a different reason why Ubisoft seems to be failing at video games? Is there an angle that I missed that you think I should have mentioned? So, mention that in the comments down below. And as always, it's time for a goodbye.